The penultimate episode of Loki on Disney Plus was a wild, variant-filled ride that set up what is sure to be a mind-blowing finale. It was also jam-packed with fun Easter eggs for fans to find. Here are a few you may have missed in Episode 5, Journey into Mystery. At the beginning of Episode 5, we travel through a destroyed cityscape full of decrepit buildings. Most of these structures seem like filler to emphasize the destruction, but there's one significant Easter egg hidden within the rubble that's worth noting. Toward the end of the camera pan, a building on the right reads Qeng, Q-E-N-G, at the top of it. Marvel Comics fans should know this famous name as it's related to a major villain who's set to appear in the MCU. This tower represents Qeng Enterprises, and if you thought it looked like the Avengers Tower, you weren't wrong. In the comics, it's revealed that Stark Industries sold the building to the company in Avengers Volume 6, Number 0 from 2015. The CEO of Qeng Industries is Mr. Griffin, aka Nathaniel Richards, who exists on Earth 6311, an alternate version of Earth 616, the reality where all the main Marvel stuff goes down. Nathaniel Richards is also known as Qeng the Conqueror, as the latter was split into two different versions of himself due to a time stream error. It's a complicated story from 2015's all-new, all-different Avengers number 1, but this nod to Qeng, a major villain we know will appear in Ant-Man and the Wasp: Quantumania, is something that we can't ignore. During Episode 5, one of the first things we see in the void is a menacing purple-black cloud with a monstrous face within it.
This is the void, that's Alioth, and we're his lunch. Come on!
Known as a trans-temporal entity, Alioth doesn't exist in any reality, but instead what the comics describe as temporal limbo. The being is the biggest enemy of Qeng the Conqueror, and its empire is bigger than his foes. Alioth first appeared in 1993's Avengers: The Terminatrix Objective number 1, and is known for its absorption powers, which we saw play a huge role in Episode 5. Alioth is drawn to living beings more than anything and has the power to disintegrate them as soon as it encompasses them. In the MCU, it appears as if Alioth lives within the void at the end of time, unlike its location in the comics. It's also being used to protect the person or entity behind the Timekeepers, who many now suspect to be Qeng. If this is the case in the MCU, the two would be on the same side, a massive shift from their comic book origins. In a move we never thought would happen, the Thanos-Copter became canon in the Marvel Cinematic Universe thanks to Loki Episode 5. When the Mad Titan finally perished in Avengers Endgame, it looked like we might never see the famous aircraft, but now we know why we never did. The Thanos-Copter first appeared in 1979's Spidey Super Stories number 39, and was a helicopter the villain used one time to attack Hellcat, a popular Marvel hero who fought the Titan as he tried to obtain the Cosmic Cube. Thanos also picked up Deadpool in the helicopter in Deadpool Volume 5, Number 45, when the latter was hired to help the Mad Titan steal the cube. It's such a shame we never got to see that scene play out on the big screen. Fortunately, Loki Episode 5 paid homage to a great and frequently mocked comic book moment. The Thanos-Copter matched its comic book appearance exactly, with its bright yellow paint and the Titan's name written across it in large, bold letters. We knew we'd be getting a version of the trickster god from the classic Vote Loki comic after he appeared in several trailers for the series, and he finally arrived in Episode 5, but only for a brief scene where a scuffle breaks out between a gaggle of Lokis. As for the variant's origin story, the 4-part comic series debuted in June 2016 and was a satire on the United States presidential election of the same year. In the 4th and final issue, Loki concedes the race. In the comics, Loki's campaign is based on his honesty about how he's going to lie to the American public. The citizens eat it up, except for a reporter from the Daily Bugle who's trying her best to take him down. It's definitely one of the weirdest Loki stories of all time, complete with political action cults sacrificing goats. And we're incredibly glad this dapper and politically ambitious Loki got to show up on the screen, even if it was only for a few minutes. Just before the Loki group makes their way down to their secret hideout, we see different layers of rubble above their little base. And buried in all this debris, we get a glimpse of Mjolnir and a small glass jar with T365 written on it. Trapped inside this jar is a tiny version of Thor, and one who's a bit more amphibious than we're used to seeing the god of thunder. Known as Throg, this powerful frog version of Thor first appeared in Thor number 363, although number 365 is more significant for the character because it's where he lifted Mjolnir and became the Thunder Frog officially. This coincides with Mjolnir being just out of Throg's reach in the episode, as he's trapped in the glass jar. Thor number 365 also heavily features Loki, who suspects something is afoot with his brother. It's a hilarious storyline, which includes Thor helping an army of frogs battle an army of rats. Just as with D.B. Cooper in Episode 1, Episode 5 of Loki further explained some great American mysteries. The first to appear in Journey into Mystery was Polybius, an arcade game long considered an urban legend. The legend of Polybius suggests this fictitious 80s game was real and run by the government as a psychological experiment. It was supposedly created to test mind control on users, but the arcade game was never found. It looks like it was swooped up by the TVA and sent to the place where urban legends go to die. In the middle of Episode 5, we also see the USS Eldridge fall out of the sky and into the void. Unlike Polybius, the famous naval ship was an actual thing. In 1943, it was alleged that the ship was made invisible as part of the famous Philadelphia experiment. As some claim, it was also apparently teleported from Philadelphia to Virginia and back again. Crew members who were on board reportedly went insane, and the story was so bizarre it was adapted into a time travel movie, The Philadelphia Experiment, in 1984. Since Episode 5 mostly took place in the void, set designers had a major opportunity to include an incredible amount of Easter eggs from the MCU's past. Some of these include Ant-Man villain Yellow Jacket's helmet in the first act, which we saw as we panned over the landscape. And Ronan's Dark Aster spaceship also makes a brief appearance. We also get a brief look at a demolished helicarrier sitting in the wasteland. Also, in the vast devastation across Loki Episode 5 is what appears to be a stone face of the Living Tribunal, which we know isn't an MCU relic yet. One of the most important entities in Marvel Comics is the character who first appeared in Strange Tales number 157 from 1967. The Living Tribunal basically oversees everything ever in every reality. Serving as somewhat of a judge of the entire cosmic universe and all of its realities, the Tribunal is more powerful than all of the Infinity Stones combined. Check out one of our newest videos right here. Plus, even more Looper videos about Loki are coming soon. Subscribe to our YouTube channel and hit the bell so you don't miss a single one.